So, Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. What have we just witnessed? A disappointing result to say the least. An ugly game to watch and an unimpressive start from some of the new bodies. Can I say the first shock of the day for me came when I saw that Cantwell had been benched. Considering the finish that he had to last season as probably one of our strongest players, I was a bit confused by that decision. Whatever Beale's reasoning was for making the decision, I ultimately think it backfired, as I think we missed his energy and creativity and what was a very lethargic performance from the ones who did start. We did start the game reasonably comfortable, controlled the ball easily for the first 15 minutes without looking too imposing near Kelly's goal, a theme that would continue throughout the game. Stylistically, I was proven right as I said that in the last video, the game would play much differently for the pre-season fixtures, and it might take some new players by surprise. This is a lot of what cost us last season severely. Not being able to break down a 10-man wall of defenders. What got me most frustrated was that despite there being new personnel in the building, we looked very much like the Rangers of last season, happy to knock the ball about around in our own half without ever really posing any sort of threat to Kilmarnock in the final third. I said it before and I'll continue to say it. If our tactics in these sort of games are getting the ball wide to Borna and Tav to swing balls into the box, the big centre-backs for teams like Kelly will have a field day just heading balls clear for 90 fucking minutes. I don't particularly know how. After all, that's Michael Beale's job, no mine. But we need to find a way in which we can attack these teams centrally, through the middle. And I know it was heavily congested in there, but maybe that means for some of our players like Dowell and Raskin, they have to take it upon themselves to try and beat a player or two in the middle of the park. It seems that our players don't know how to dribble a ball, and instead only want to pass it from fucking side to side. There was an occasion or two where Raskin and Dowell picked up the ball a bit deeper and decided to drive forward with it, and it did look promising. But for me, there just isn't enough of it. I think out of the new starts, Seema looked the most impressive, albeit there was nothing particularly dangerous about him most of the game. At least he was trying to get in behind and cause a threat to the Killie defence. He looked at least a bit more energetic than some of the other bodies in the park. Now for the goal, honestly, just a terrible bit of defending. I think there was 4 Rangers players around the ball when it got trapped under Suter's feet for the long throw. But it was Lyons that was first to react and toe poke it in. I think Suter should do better, obviously, but I do think the park was very sticky and it contributed to him getting the ball stuck under his feet. But then again, maybe I'm just being too kind to him in that regard. That defensive mishap aside, it got to 72 minutes in the game without Rangers having a shot on target. I think that tells you all you really need to know about how we approached today's game. It was like a carbon copy of a number of games last season. A lethargic start, going behind late to a team who've sat 10 men behind the ball, and then a desperate rush back to life to try and salvage something from the game. It's a very dangerous way to approach games like this. Lessons have to be learned and improvements have to be made come Wednesday, because now all the pressure's on not to flop at home in a vitally important European game. There are many layers to a football game. It's not always just about technicality, your players. Look, Kilmarnock set up really, really well and had a desire to win the game. You could see there was a spirit within their team and they worked much harder to a man than every Rangers player in the park. Ultimately, that is what cost us through the 90 minutes. It's not just a given to show up to places like Rugby Park and expect to win. You have to go out onto the park and show that you're deserving of a win. And that's something that we didn't do today. And honestly, didn't really look like doing at all, not even in temporary spells. This game, I don't think, will define our season. However, we as fans expect more. If you're not going to give us the results, then at least give effort and give us something that's enjoyable to watch. I think I speak for 99% of Rangers fans in saying that game today was a fucking eyesore of a game to watch. Horrendous, ugly. Kilmarnock wanted to make it that way and achieved. But we deserve more. If I'm brutally honest, I think Kelly just revealed to each and every other team out with Celtic that if you want to beat Rangers at your home stadium, then that is the blueprint. Sit 10 men behind the ball, congest the final third centrally, and we'll struggle to break it down. I said in my previous video that is something that we had to drastically improve on from last season, and today's game shows that we've definitely not accomplished that just yet. I know it's early days and that's just the first game of the season, but I'm just saying it how I see it. Quite honestly, the pre-season for me was rather disappointing. Nothing stood out as being done particularly well. And look, that has followed us into the first game of the season. Again, I said in my previous video that time is of the essence. That's us one game into the league already. A 1-0 defeat at Kilmarnock. We don't have time for it fucking excuses like players need to gel. This player's only been in here, this, that, the next thing. We need to win games. This is going to be a tough month. Quick fire fixtures. European games, and to top it off the start of the next month, the Old Firm. If we're not going to put on pretty performances, we at the very least, need to find a way to fucking win. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully things are looking better come Wednesday. And until then, I'll see you next time.